Good evening, free enterprise fans, and welcome to another Lali-Ho League elimination match between Eykir and drcossack. My name's Vitasia. I'm joined tonight by Martin Broadcloak. I don't know if we can get too much more hype, but we've had so many great races this week at the 2-2 stage. Why not another one, right?
I being a participant and a commentator, and it's week 5. I'm tired. I am exhausted from all the amazing races we've seen. And like you said, we've got another one here for us. It's Friday. We have our beverages in front of us. We have an Eddie start. We get to find one of the worst bosses in the game. I mean, how much better could this get?
This is absolutely going to be a hype race. Early Eddie, it's a little bit challenging if you don't start with a decent weapon like a spoon or, anything else that Eddie can make useful, which is really only the spoon. But, yeah, an evil wall to kill. We will find a Sid, so if you didn't want to keep Edward as your anchor, well, we have another Sid that's guaranteed at some point. This looks to be a dumpster fire in the making, and let me tell you, I'm here for it.
I, once again, having commentated and raced a dumpster fire, they are highly entertaining on both sides, to say the least. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, with an Ed start, the wall, okay, we're not too terribly concerned about the wall. Ed has his uses for all the shade that Ed catches. Ed does have some great things about, Ed. Like the spoon. And the spoon. And yeah, no, that's you're dead on the mark on that one.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Going through these players' histories, drcossack has wins over Aizen Teyama and Kind of Nerdy Housewife. K&H, just that's a stacked crew there. But Eykir also has wins over Mountaineer Gamer and Sameta. So can't really count either of these two out. Their two wins are absolutely the same. Two losses. Cossack has lost to Couch and Flurry, which is nothing to sneeze at. Eykir has losses to both Night Dew and Gambit 017. So both of them have absolutely been through the gauntlet here so far for the tournament. But isn't that the facts of this entire tournament? There's no free matches.
No, not at all. I do not care who your opponent is. The seed can do things to people. And depending on the seed and the plays that you make and whether you stand behind them, this could go either way. And you can say that about any matchup right now. And that's why we're here. We're here to watch that, see the decisions we make, and are you rewarded? Are you penalized? Do you win or do you go home?
Hey, Jay Brun TR, thank you so much for the gift subs. And thank you so much for the community support. And with that, we are off. Eddie and Yang to start off with, and bonus round and a magma key. Okay, so what you don't do?
We have choices. Choices are good. I'm curious to see where this goes right out of the gate.
Yeah, this is super interesting. Early magma key start, some people like to dive immediately into the underworld before they start clearing, just because the loot, frankly speaking, is a lot better in the underworld. Start clearing out the Baymarch area so you can dodge some early looting that you normally have to do in order to get through some early spots. Other folks just kind of let the seed play out and don't necessarily dive that any earlier than they would. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out to start off with for these two.
And of course, I was going to say, we already get the variation you spoke of, hey, here's Doc going straight to dump a key down a well. And we have Eykir doing a bit of looting. And the more important thing, checking the character. Because that is going to influence, maybe the loot that you keep, the items you're actually looking for. And knowing that a cane is there right now, all right, that Aegis shield that you just pick up, you're not going to sell that. You're going to hold on to that for cane.
Oh, absolutely. Heretic Trance, I see you with the 5 gift subs there. Big shout out to you as well for supporting. I like drcossack's play here. As much as I like looting early Baron, objectively speaking, the loot in the underworld is superior, at least in terms of the chance to get better loot. Now, we picked up some decent stuff in terms of a bandana, but otherwise, looting through Baron didn't necessarily get us much other than the intel for Kane. That by itself, though, might be worth, the minute or so delay that we're getting here, just because Kane does have very specific equipment that he can equip.
Yeah, and, to that point, it's okay. So the underground, obviously, we know that, the shops down here also have amazing items for sale. Because they are gated shops, sirens, Bacchus wines, hourglasses, things of that nature. So that early knowledge on Kane, I mean, yes, you find a Gungnir, you find, certain items that normally for Doc may look at that and be like, okay, well, if sirens are for sale, maybe I go hawk this Gungnir spear. But with Eykir understanding that, wait, there's a Kane sitting in Baron Inn, so you may see some different, buying strategies here, depending on what items are available. So that I'm looking for to see where the deviation comes in.
Right now, we see Cossack going ahead and opening up all the treasure chests so far. Not found the trap chest yet. If I were him, yeah, I'm tempted. Don't risk it. Don't worry about it. Hourglass 2, Dwarf Axe. He's found some really kind of interesting things so far here in the underworld. Pigtail, hey, not exactly the original tail that we find there, but a welcome sight nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, one of the required, I'm not going to say required objectives, but it gets you closer to that 4 out of 5 mark that we need to get the crystal and finish the game. So always welcome to find that early and free. And speaking of, well, one of those bosses is free. The other one is not.
I mean, even the free boss is really annoying.
Annoying, yes. Still free. It's you understand the fight and the mitigation and how it works. But that one on the left, Baigen sitting at Leviathan.
I want everything to be trapped behind that Baigen immediately.
It's not that Baigen's bad. It's that the power is amazing and he gets 3 swings at you. And then he gets 3 more swings at you, and pretty much you're dead. So that's about the fight in a nutshell. So I feel like we're not going to see that fight happen anytime soon.
Oh no, that'll be a post-grind, last check before zero miss fight, honestly. Yeah. I did see a Fire Claw. I did see an Ice Claw as well. Yang is one of those interesting characters that he punches, and we call him Punch Mage, and it's interesting because he can take advantage of those elemental weaknesses that are in roughly half of all bosses in Final Fantasy IV. As long as you have the right claw equipped with them, and he can deal out a ton of damage in those half. The other half, he's kind of middling, but for those bosses that have those elemental weaknesses, he's an A1 rock star.
Absolutely. There's not quite possibly a finer thing than to run into Kainazo and you're sitting there with an Ice and Thunder Claw and be like, I don't care if you have your wave up or if you don't, I'm going to punch you for very large numbers. It's a great feeling. Unfortunately, his scaling is a bit rough. Obviously he does want levels to get his power, but if you find enough plus strength gear early on, you can kind of work around it, at least early game. He's not a complete and utter waste, but it does take a little bit of time to get Yang up and running.
It can. He does take levels and he does take some strength gear. Having him to start off a race, honestly, makes me more tempted to keep him than anything else, just because he will absorb those levels. He will be a punisher. He's worthwhile. He's your damage right now in early game. He'll be some decent damage mid game, and he can be a bruiser at end game.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about the level thing, we saw that there was a siren that was picked up during the course of looting. So we do have access to possibly an early egg to get some XP for Yang. We are still searching possibly for a coffin, though, because while it's nice that, we can summon an egg, we don't have a great way of killing the egg right now.
No, it's absolutely true at this point in time. It'd be one thing if we had a way to crack that egg, but we really don't at this point in time. So now, we've done our underworld checks. We haven't seen any sirens or coffins that are available in the underworld. So back to the upper world we find and see exactly what's going to happen. Do our standard checks at this point. Cossack has looted what he can. Finds a Rosa with the blue robe. Oh, which blue robe is this?
The correct answer is it's the good one.
You and I define good things very differently, Martin.
Hey, I am Team Free Enterprise, so whenever we see an early gauntlet sitting up there guarding a character we really would love to have at this moment, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Dr. Cossack decides, not yet. There's a Thunderclaw. Old Man Vax, I see you with your 5 gift subs. Cheers to you. I think that means Yang has all of his elemental claws at this point, so he's going to be useful throughout everything. What? Martin?
No. I saw you do it first, so shh, that's enough out of you.
Okay, fair. That's fair. Meanwhile, all right, so we have a little bit of divergence. Dr. Cossack is looting here through the Antlion Cave. Again, lower loot, but still high enough to get us a cat claw because why not?
Cat claws are absolutely fantastic. That 5 strength and 5 agility, as you're moving Kane, obviously levels will get you multipliers, but equipment also can do it, and anything at this point that is either plus strength or plus agility is going to find its way onto Yang ASAP. So
we have ourselves a hype train in this early part of the race. Psychonaut with another 5 gift subs. This is the highest I've ever seen a level 5 hype train, by the way, 390%. Let's keep this train rolling. Support the community.
The community is fantastic. They are silly beyond words, and I'm proud to name myself one of the silly. So thank you, all of you. Thank you, Vitasia. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. This is really a privilege to be a part of this community. Honestly, heartfelt sappiness. Get your tissues out. This is one of the best online communities that has really helped everyone in the community help deal with the past year as everything that's been going on. So thank you to the Free Enterprise community for helping giving us a little bit of light and a little bit of laughter in what has otherwise been a crap year.
Yep. And on Doc's side, you talking about the elemental claws, we see a nice power punch there from Yang for a solid 1488 to take out the boss, and rewarded, unfortunately, with just a ribbon. But that ribbon does do some very interesting things involving our soon-to possibly be Evil Wall with an Eddie.
Hey, I mean, Eddie on Evil Wall strats that with a ribbon, that's perfectly valid. Neon Gray, I see your gift subs as well. Got to get you in there as well. So Dr. Cossack now checking some of these one-off locations. Still got to hunt for that Evil Wall. Also, as a tertiary, trying to also find that demon. No, the demons we already know, so we don't need to hunt that.
No. So we did find our other blue robe, though. That was the water hag sitting in Mist Cave. So that's one you could kind of put in your memory to come back. Mist Cave, for people that don't know, has quite possibly some of the better tier loot here in the opening stages of the tournament. So don't be surprised if you see a runner possibly go in and grab those 4 chests afterwards and maybe spike something very nice out of it.
So we see Dr. Cossack actually coming up here prior to doing the Fabul Gauntlet. He is turning in Sheila 1. A little bit, I'm not going to call it an inefficient check.
But rewarding check.
Well, I mean, why not get the best weapon for Eddie?
Also, ow, my ear. I'm pretty sure Skala or Asuka just squealed, and I'm pretty sure I just heard it all the way over here somewhere. So,
yep. You know what? I wondered what that was. The dogs around me started barking very loudly.
So about what I was saying earlier about Yang and our damage dealer and putting strength and agility equipment on him. So now we pivot. We have an Ed that also requires levels and things with a spoon to get him up to respectable damage. You're going to see some of that transitioning. You will see a bandana on Ed. You will see hopefully a power shirt on Ed. Maybe a Zeus gauntlet on Ed. And Ed will do some very bad things.
Yeah, I mean, he's good for really... The only thing that Ed becomes non-useful for, realistically, is Zero Miss. He can get you up all the way through everything. That Defend Fabul spot gives us... oh my goodness. Gives us Twin Harp.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ed's world. We just exist in it. That's all I got.
This is... I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it in my bones. This is a meme race. This is 100% a meme race. We got Spoonword. Mm-hmm. We got, Gauntlet hiding our best white mage. We have early Magma Key. This is nothing but a meme race up to this point in time, and I am here for it.
Absolutely. And it looks like Eykir actually got through and got the Rosa as a reward, and now is looting the back of Hobbs. Also, some very interesting equipment like a crystal ring, which is very handy early on. So, always good to see kind of those off-putting, out of the way spots rewarding for the people that are, willing to go grab them.
Yeah, drcossack really kind of feeling himself right now. He's like, I have a Yang and a Spoonword, just level 13. Yeah, I can do Mount Ordeals. This is no problem. Absolutely.
I can hold A through a fight. Sure, why not? Until, you run into something that doesn't work on.
Berserk now says, hopefully this isn't a jet seed as the next race is an hour and a half. I promise you, Berserk now, every time you think it's a jet seed, it's not a jet seed. Like, it's not a jet seed until we're in go mode sub hour. I've seen this happen one too many times.
And let's face it, folks. I mean, if this turns out to be a jet seed, I mean, who doesn't want to see one of our runners do Eddie strats? I mean, come on. It's a thing, and it's enjoyable to watch, so...
Why you have to put that evil out into the world, Martin?
Hey, I am all for the Zilch 1200 strats, for Eddie strats, for Foon, anything that just isn't the norm of punching something in the face as hard as humanly possible. I'm all for it. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so with that, we see Eykir now diving into Antlion Cave. While drcossack is up on Mount Ordeal, says, let's take safety saves at this point in time. Again, as a reminder, both these runners, 2 and 2, this is their tournament lives they're racing for. Hi, Kenyatso. What was that about Thunder Ice Claw earlier?
Yeah, I hear that's a great combo for this. It's a thing.
For those of you who do not know, Kenyatso's elemental weaknesses are a little bit odd. He is weak against thunder as long as the tide is in and the wave is up and he's gathering the water. When not, though, his elemental weaknesses shifts actually over to ice. So having Thunder Ice Claw on Yang actually helps with striking both of his elemental weaknesses no matter what's going on. However, the wave is still coming out. We don't have any sources of thunder up to this point in time, so we just kind of got to outrace the big waves.
And it looks like Doc has got it pretty well handled. He put out enough damage there that initial wave just didn't do anything. So.
Oh, yeah. Between Punch Mage and Spoonword, that was easy.
I mean, you can't argue it's a great early game tactic. I know people talk about, an early Kayn, an early Cecil, an early Avenger. Holding A with Spoonword is also a viable alternative. It works.
No, absolutely. So now we see what's to reward. There's nothing really pointing us here except experience, so we'll see if drcossack is rewarded in any capacity.
Mm-hmm. I would qualify that as a reward.
Well, I mean,
I would
bare minimum,
really
we have,
that as a reward.
Yeah, objective 3.
Wow.
Done. Also, access to Eblin Cave shops done, and a shop and another character.
And a
Yeah.
gated character. That's, oh, wow. What a pay. And here's the thing. I mean, you look at this party composition right now, you have underground access, you have zero reason to do ordeals. So we may not see Eykir go up ordeals for a while.
Wait. And that was Evil Wall.
Yeah, that was Evil Wall. Yeah, this is turning out to be interesting.
So hard required mount ordeals because you need, if you got to complete 4 out of the 5 objectives in order to finish the seed, and 2 of them are locked.
Yeah. The hook is tied to one of them, so yeah. Wow. I like where this is going so far. I feel like all we need now is to sit on the hook route and, you know. Not that I'm going to call go mode at like 30 minutes or anything, but you know.
We have some time.
It's just possible.
Calm down here. I mean, yes, it's 18 minutes and we're already looking at, 2, maybe 3 objectives already down. It's
so if I may be so bold, let's go with, let's say Sid's on the hook route. And let's say just maybe we get a pass from doing Twin Harp. This could be a thing.
It could be a thing.
It could be a thing.
I'm not 100% sure if Eykir or drcossack know those low percent strats. Any strats are not easy in any capacity.
No, they are not. They are, okay, the best way to describe Eddie strats, they are methodical, and if you miss one, it is very easy for it to fall apart and you die. But if you know the rotation, it is simple. It's just 20 minutes of paying attention to the game and not dropping anything during that, or you die.
It's compressing all of the stress that you are trying to dodge for an hour and a half to 2 hour seed, and compresses all of that stress down into 20 minutes of hyper-focused attention, and if you mess up, it feels horrible.
You are not wrong in any way, shape, or form. So we've seen them once before in the tournament. They have been done. So will this be the second time? I'm really hoping. I really am.
I mean, it would be an absolute amazing roll. By the way, shout out to the folks behind the scenes, Cubs Rule, for rolling this, what I'm going to call amazing seed. and Eykir, who's had to do a lot more tracking sub 20 minutes than I think any other tracker has ever had to do.
I was going to say, Klopfer's been pushing a lot of buttons, and I know you had other words to describe this seed. Unfortunately, this is not free enterprise after dark, so we have to behave, but we know what you meant.
Look, I have not had that much to drink on a Friday night yet, to the point where I still understand this is a family-friendly broadcast, all right? I get it.
So it looks like Doc hit the trap chest there in Cave Eblin, and well, unfortunately, folks, we have met on the very soft spot of Ed. Namely, that Ed doesn't have HP, and Ed gets... Yeah, poor Ed.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit rough, but he's going to get him up. Meanwhile, Eykir is over here.
Eykir's just facing a bomb, though. I mean, what could go wrong with that, right? Not like
just
it turns into a bear bomb
yeah.
and explodes, and a whole bunch of little mini bombs come out. And the gray bombs are also evil, and yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with this. It's fine.
This seed has been very friendly. We've had a lot of objectives that we're able to complete with not a lot of bosses actually being killed.
Yeah.
And now we're actually fighting stuff, and it's realizing, oh wait, we actually can't kill a whole lot of stuff right now.
and the fact that we know that our objective boss hunt is quite possibly one of the easiest spots in the game, that okay, well, we don't really care about finding other bosses now, so all right.
All right, so get some experience on our two fearless warriors here that Dr. Cossack has, and he looks good on equipment, not opening up anything else. Again, we already have the magma key, so probably just checking characters at this point. Boy,
that is not a Sid.
Wrong, old man.
But that comes with one very important thing, because we have done ordeals. That Tella is fully online. So now we have access to wonderful things like Blink and Weak and Virus and Stone and all these very useful utility spells that could come in play here.
Yeah, the problem at this point is, I mean, first of all, we don't really have a choice because he's the third character. I mean, Eykir has Rosa, Dr. Cossack has Tella.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
And as chat brings up, NG Dave, yeah, we now have an exit bot. That's don't underestimate how much time exit saves you. If you add it up during a run, the number gets very large. So,
Tetsuga asking.
Oh boy!
Wow. Okay.
We are jet enabled. That is a pass. Paging Sid. Sid, we need you at the white courtesy phone, please. Sid.
And by the way, in case it wasn't already apparently obvious, we have both hourglasses and sirens available in the Eblin shop. So if you didn't want to have to break down and do any strats, hey, grind up, because you can do that.
You have a perfectly viable grind option now. Sirens obviously call the rare encounter in whatever spot you're in. In certain spots in the game, they will call gold dragons, namely a pair of them. Hourglasses freeze them in their tracks. You have Tella. Tella has that weak spell that they don't like very much, and that will drop them a single-digit HP. So that is your grind pretty much in one shop. And a character, but, you know, it's Tella, so
Well, and Chaos Lord makes a good point. You know, Edward, Kane, Young, Rosa, Tella, viable end game party at that point in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen the equipment necessary to set up Yang and Kane to do end game damage. You get the levels properly, and the fact that we're only a Sid away from go mode, this is silly.
It's silly, and I'm loving it. And can we just say, for those that were like, oh, well, these 5 characters can beat the game, and et cetera, so forth. Let's just put the darkness crystal behind that Baigan. Let's make him earn it. It's like, you could beat the game. You have Ed. You could beat the game, or you could go play with Baigan if you really want to go with the moon.
Yeah, Eykir is avoiding Mount Ordeals up to this point in time. We happen to know it's a bad call. Ordeals is interesting in that a lot of folks don't do it until they have a reason to do it. You have a Cecil or a Tella. We do have a boss hunt, which does lend itself to going ahead and doing something like that a little bit earlier, just because it has 3 bosses up there, so a significant portion of the game's bosses are up on Mount Ordeals in relatively easy spots, all said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think what's going to come down to is probably how this next item chain goes. Whether the Twin Harp leads us, in a direction, it points us and says, here's an Earth Crystal, here's a Baron Key, and you continue following it. Or if it ends up being nothing, and all of a sudden your decisions become more limited. Where do I go to Ordeals? Do I do Dwarf Castle? What options am I left with at that point? then you might see the, shift over to ordeals because of that boss hunt.
In the meantime, while Dr. Cossack is fighting Mom Bomb to get his cane and his pass at this point in time, Eykir has gone in and he is activating the Twin Harp. So we have DJ Spoony B spinning his hits. As a reminder, this is one of the things we randomize in the free enterprise community. What song will we have? Well, shout out to the community for curating so many songs. Here you go. All right, that was we'll call it a creatively arranged rendition of what could be construed as Game of Thrones music. However, it's inspired by it and it is not an actual copy. Thank you for not DMCAing us, everyone. Thank you.
And look at that, we get an Earth Crystal.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
There's still possible Sid could be up on Zot. If you can't tell, this is the sound of me rubbing my hands together, just thinking about end strats.
I don't blame you at this point in time.
I mean, we're leaning that direction. Everything is it's shaping up. We're getting to a point.
Meanwhile, Eykir and Dr. Cossack high five as they're going back and forth. Um, what what stuck out to me, Eykir didn't equip the spoon until later into that fight for Edward, but he also, I didn't see his Fire Claw equipped, which would have done some bonus damage.
Yeah, the Fireclaw, yes, he actually took off the spoon thinking that the Dancing Dagger would actually do damage. Unfortunately, because it's magical damage and the MDef in that spot is very high, it did 1. And that's about where it stopped.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I mean, that's the interesting thing about that spot that every runner has to keep in mind. That spot has one of the highest magic defenses in the entire game, I think in the whole game. And, normally you only have Tello there, so magic damage isn't something you consider.
Mm-hmm.
It's just punch, 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 done. But the magic damage there, like, even nukes fired from a fully powered up Fusoya does nothing there.
Right. And not only that, but also even using something as simple as like a Cure 2 potion or using a Cure 2 spell still is going to do nothing against enemies in that spot, which, hey, that is a great way normally to damage the D-Lunars, but in a spot that in the vanilla game prides itself on, hey, you want physical firepower here, you don't want to hit these with physical anything here, because eek.
Meanwhile, looks like we're going into the treasury. Now, okay, we'll go with it. All right, so far, so we have some defense swords, we have cat claws, Bacchus wines, black swords, Zeus gauntlets.
It's not bad treasury.
No, honestly, for this
terrible.
party.
No, not at all. So I'm still sticking to my guns, though. I'm going to say none of this is going to matter here shortly. It looks good now. We'll see how much it matters here soon.
I mean, consider if you're like, given you have a Kane that just started, now you have double cat claw Edward, double cat claw Yang.
Oh yeah.
A Zeus gauntlet. Overall, that was a very strong treasury. I would have liked to have seen some power shirts or something a little bit more diverse in terms of damage that we can do. So I'm only going to give it an 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, those black swords and certain items kind of scale that down a bit. I mean, for the current party composition, though, it wasn't bad. It was functional. Let's go with that word.
Yeah, it's very doable for the party that we have presently with this.
So it looks like we get a repeat here. I don't blame Doc for going in the treasury on this one. So
no, absolutely not.
Great!
All right, so Dr. Cossack is entering, and now we finally get. Hey, now we can rate that treasure. Okay, so officially my answer is 7 out of 10. I hope everyone else rates that treasury as well. Join us in chat if you have not rated that treasury yet.
Unfortunately, one of the great downsides of raiding that treasury, sometimes you run into an inventory boss that you have to manage.
It is the worst boss. Yeah.
It happens. I mean, the loot here is so good. I mean, you just want to take it all, and unfortunately, you can't really be a pack rat about it. You have to kind of ration, what you keep, what you throw away, so.
Eykir finds Odin, which shouldn't necessarily be a problem with this particular party. Just throw a Thunderclaw on and let loose.
Yep.
This will be relatively good. We have a pretty good chance of finding a Sid up here, don't we?
We really do. So, the only thing that would make this fight faster for Eykir a little bit, if Rosa had maybe another level or two, because right now she does not have Berserk. Good part for Doc, though, because Doc has Tella. Tella has access to it, and this fight's going to go a lot faster.
I mean, the problem with Eykir at this point is Eykir has not gone to Mount Ordeal, so Eykir has no idea that Pinktail and Evil Wall are just right there, ready for the taking.
Mhm.
Dr. Cossack is feeling the pressure. He 3 of 5 objectives done. Only got to find a Sid at this point in time to complete the loop. He's feeling the pressure a little bit more. So if he finds a Sid, he knows more about Go mode.
Yes.
Now, chat points out that if there's a Cecil up here, that could push Eykir towards Mount Ordeals, which will help close the loop.
Absolutely. I mean, Cecil's one of those. Ever since they took away Cecil's vanilla agility, I don't even know if I call it a problem, but ever since that flag was disabled in this tournament, Cecil is he's 1A in the scheme of things. You take Cecil because of what Cecil can do, and having a crystal sword or anything of that nature, there's no reason not to, and you want him online ASAP. So, but that's not Cecil. That's
Nope,
actually
that's a Porum.
Yeah, that's something. That is also not a Cecil.
But that's still someone you take.
Yeah, that does not take long to be like, come into my party. I have things for you.
It's like there's Fusoya and there's great value Fusoya in Tella.
And ladies and gentlemen, Porum, if anybody's running a timer, Porum was in our party for 3 seconds.
That long? Wow.
I mean, So unfortunately not the Sid we wanted to see, but coming with nuke enabled and a Cure 3, Fu's a happy little addition to the team right now. Fu's going to break a lot of things here, so.
No, he is. But that brings up the interesting question.
Except for that. Hi.
You know that really popular commercial that's been going on the TV that's a spoof of a popular music, French vanilla, Rocky Road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Yeah, this is nothing but vanilla.
Yeah, exactly. And as we all see, hey, I'm gonna cast new. Poor Fu.
No, Fu does not. No, Fu does not get to be called poor Fu. Okay, she's one of the few insta takes.
Look, a character, or in this case, unfortunately, I will lower Fu a little bit to a tool. Fu just wants to be used, okay? And when Val is spinning, Fu cannot be used. Fu can try casting anything under the sun at Val. It does not work. Until you jump on her and get her out of her spin, and then that occurs.
All right, so Val goes down. Interesting to see what the key item is. Again, Eykir and Dr. Cossack, I think at this point in time, that Mount Ordeals is crucial for Eykir at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he doesn't continue to fade it for too much longer, because we know that that's the key to the race. Eykir still thinks this is kind of wide open, and he's going through the race and doesn't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Dr. Cossack has a much clearer picture of what this seed is about in what possibly we're going to be forced to do. Right. So the advantage still is at Dr. Cossack's end, even though Eykir, in terms of the straight line, is in a much better position, is a little bit ahead, and we do end up seeing just a crystal ring.
Okay, well, so this is where we were talking about, limiting our options. Like, all right, so what do we have left? It's like, if you look on the overworld, well, you have Ordeals. Baron's off the table. You don't have a package. You haven't, D-Dot missed. I mean, all these things are, so you're on a character hunt. You're on a boss hunt. So dwarf is what kind of sticks out. Like, I'm going to dwarf because I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So, and as we see, Eykir, yep, that is the plan.
Yeah, dwarf appears to be a smart plan, because if you're Eykir's position, you're still hunting for Evil Wall. So, plus a character. So, yeah, you go ahead and do this. Mm-hmm. If you're Dr. Cossack, you really go to Dwarf Castle, because you're still looking just to be able to one-shot this and go, oh, hi, right. By the way, would you just like a random white spear, just casually?
I mean, hey, look, those pots lying around, sometimes you just gotta leave things in them, like a tiara. you know, I mean, maybe you just looted the Earth Treasury. You got a few extra items and you just want to, you know, it's like that, you know, leave a penny type thing. Just leave a tiara, leave a white spear. It's fine. Somebody will grab it eventually.
I want to know who's leaving just random tiaras. Like take a penny, leave a penny. Like, I can spare this white lance.
Yeah.
You know, why not? Dr. Cossack is also coming over here. Cossack is, I mean, both these runners have done their hunting around. They know what characters they have. So Cossack is the one who feels, I think, the pressure a little bit more. There's just some guards in the first spot. So this is going to be a free boss in the first part of Dwarf Castle.
Yep.
I get the sense Dr. Cossack understands the position and he's trying to move things and push things a little bit on. Eykir, not that he's being casual about it, but he's not. I don't feel the urgency in his movements right now.
No, yeah, no, not at all. I mean, on Doc's side right now, I mean, you're staring at 3 objectives done. Right now, the easy part of this is finding characters, and Dwarf obviously is kind of a no-brainer. You still require both aspects of the Forge. So right now, this is Doc. In Doc's mind, Doc is like, I'm going to find Sid. If I happen to trip on one of the ingredients of the Forge, fantastic, but my goal right now is to find Sid. And hopefully he is not the only Sid in the game currently behind the giant. That's probably what's going through his mind right now. So anything that's going to lead to any form of a character, you will probably see Doc make a beeline for immediately.
So almost simultaneous kills from Eykir and Dr. Cossack as we're here in the back of Dwarf Castle. We see the Optimum in the back, which we knew was coming from our trip up to
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Oh, baby.
So Dr. Cossack is like...
Do we get to see it?
That's the question.
I'm excited.
I want everyone to realize that we're in go mode and we don't have a darkness crystal at all.
We don't need it. We have a pass. So there are a couple different ways we can finish this game now. Let's obviously people understand Eddie strats. That's a thing. So that's done. Number 2, Zilch or 1200 HP strats. That's a thing. We have, in theory, because we have access to Sirens, we have multiple characters that can easily push 1200 HP. And I have seen Star Veils for sale. I have not really paid attention for Cure 3s, but we pretty much should have the ingredients we need to go after Z at this point. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this direction goes. So I know Doc has tools in the bag for a couple different strategies. I'm really curious to see where this plays out.
All right, and the key item is going... Oh, by the way, the Darkness Crystal.
That is about the absolute worst item Eykir could have hit, because there is 0 reason right now to go to Ordeals.
Eykir is going to go to probably turn that in, check the character, try to get a little bit better. Dr. Cossack, meanwhile, is like... I gotta grind.
I mean, maybe not a grind. Maybe it's okay. I'm going to go buy things. Maybe I'm going to. Is he going to launch the whale?
Eykir, against all wisdom right now, is saying, "Yeah, let's go ahead and do Ordeals," which we know is the correct play.
I am honestly stunned by this, and I love it.
This will keep Eykir squarely in the fight, because when you're going this fast, when you're doing low percent strats, anything can happen. Zero miss is not a free fight, so this is going to keep Eykir in it. So we have, oh my goodness, this is one of the strangest races. I joked at the beginning that this was going to be a fast seed. I didn't expect it to be this fast.
Yeah, right? I don't think any of us expected this. It's like, okay, it's Ed. Maybe the seed will be kind, give him a spoon early, and let Ed do Ed things, and then this occurred. And we're in go mode. And we're all waiting to see what sort of finish we're going to see here.
So what is the doc doing? I suspect
leveling.
Yeah, leveling. Maybe even like honestly, I would probably even check a character at this point in time.
This is pure leveling. This is he has hourglasses, he has sirens, and he has access to weak. That is, we are going down this floor and using them, and this is what's going to happen.
He only has 9 sirens though. He's going to have to use all of them, honestly, if that's the plan, is to be a more traditional endgame sort of party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the good part about this fight, even though it is not 10 key items, as long as you life glitch one of them, using a life potion right after you kill it, you get a free kill out of it. You will end up with 90,000 experience out of each of these fights. So you do the math, 90 times 9, 810,000. You're in range of murdering Z levels. So I would not be surprised to see Doc go all the way to at least mid 40s probably on levels with this.
Probably. Keep in mind that he does also have the Dragoon Lance, which for the King Ryus, who are a dragon type, melts everything.
Mm-hmm. Quad damage against dragons it's a wonderful little amazing thing to have.
Calamity, yes, that was the legendary math on stream. I don't know if you're aware of this, Calamity, but the vast majority of people who are watching this race with you are nerds who like math. That's the thing we can talk about.
Now, that doesn't mean we have to be correct at the math, though. It just means we have to be able to say math on stream, though. That's the difference.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So, yeah, just watching Doc, my guess is Doc's not going back. Well, actually, with the amount of time it takes to walk down the LST for the final fight, I would say after the grind, no, he goes back to Earth and he goes via the pass. It is actually shorter to go that route.
So Eykir now gets the news and says, "Oh, so this is what was available on Ordeals." He baited it, and he's like, "Oh, this is bad," because now he knows he's going to turn in the pigtail, and know he's behind and has to get his butt.
Well, the question is, do you think you're behind? I mean, you've seen the characters, right? So you know there's no reason for either myself or my opponent really to come to Ordeals unless we're specifically looking for a boss hunt. So knowing that, do you assume that Doc did this? Do you assume he didn't? Are you in, I need to somehow do Eddie strats and run? Do I have time to go level? What am I doing at this point? Those are the questions that, go through all the racers' minds, like, how much of a rush am I in right now? And the answer might be a lot. So,
I mean, let's be realistic. If you fade anything like Ordeals for any period of time and then go back to it and see it that loaded, you feel behind. It doesn't matter if it may not be the reality, but yeah,
it's a triple boss for a boss hunt on Earth. Yeah, you have to feel like you're behind.
So Eykir, getting his big whale, going to be making a decision very quickly. He does still have to turn in the pigtail. He has not done that yet. That is not an objective completed.
Looks like doing a quick bit of shopping here. What are we looking for here? Cabins and life potions, always wonderful to see. Probably maybe trying to find like a silk web maybe, or maybe some other ingredient that we're looking for, but first things first, the pigtail, very important.
Doc is out of life potions is what I'm hearing in chat. So his grind is maybe prematurely cut off. Didn't do quite enough shopping. However, if he has to check shops for more grinding,
well, I don't think so. And here's why. You have Kane with an Avenger. You have Ed with a spoon. You have Yang with a good amount of HP. You have Fu. You have a solid anchor. I feel like this. I'm not going to say it's a foregone conclusion, but even though we're a bit light on levels, we have the party we need to finish the game.
It's true. It feels light, so and that's I think what makes me most concerned right now. And his tail is staying down. He's trying to get the rest of his party like properly built up. It feels good, honestly. Like as long as there's not a large Big Bang roll that will take out Fu, because Fu's not even fully powered up.
No, he is not. So that's an interesting. That actually brings up a very valid point. Is you look at Fu's at 1700 HP right now. Like we know for a fact that Water Hag is in that D.miss spot. Do you go just bop a quick boss to get just a little bit of a buffer on Fu? I mean, that also comes down a lot to like Fu's equipment as well. A rune ring, a good white shirt, something like that can obviously, bring down that threshold to where it's not a problem. But Z is Z for a reason, and that's a lot of Z's in chat. What Vitasia, what happened to our chat? I don't know.
Yeah, so chat has been possessed by the ZD. No, it's so we are Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. We love randomizing things in the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise community. So much so that we find different things to randomize. You heard earlier, of course, we randomized the nasty music harp song that Ed plays. Another thing that's even older is Zeromus's True Colors. We can't really put Zeromus into the pool with all the other bosses because of how his HP works and his skill set works. It just wouldn't work in early 90s Super Nintendo coding. So what we've done within the Free Enterprise community is alter his final form sprite. There are more than 526-ish or so final forms for Zeromus. So whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? And it is what?
I'm only scared of one sprite in general, and it's been recently added. I'm not worried about that one. That one, nah, we're good. We're good.
I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Chat knows exactly what it. Yep, there it is.
It's Superstar Hatsune Miku.
That would be it. You can Google it afterwards.
I don't know. Should I keep safe search on when I do it?
No. It's a big hit over on the other side of the pond. It's a thing.
All right, so Zeromus, Mikumus, apparently. So we got Zerks rolling out, trying to get everyone rolling to do enough damage at this point. I did see a Silk Web go out at some point. Looks like Kane got hit. Of course, Max Frost, it's supposed to be a dramatic pose. It's the final boss. Like, you can't just sit there casually posing. We're not all Sephiroth. Come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're supposed to take Z seriously here. I figured if she was just, all laid back and just be like, what is this? I mean, at least that's profound.
And one of those things with Fu not being fully powered up, I guess in this particular randomizer, because the way he works right now is that not only does he gain a little bit of HP, but he also unlocks 3 random spells from his spell list for every boss you defeat. Because he doesn't have his complete spell list, he doesn't have Cure 4 yet.
That's a bit harsh. Cure 3 is functional. It's not terrible. Obviously, it gets better with the less amount of people you have currently alive in your party. But yeah, Cure 4 would be kind of nice to have right now.
Eykir actually going up to the moon, has the pass, but wants to do some leveling, I think, up here on the moon. Finds duplicate Rosa. So this is still anyone's race. Another big bang for Dr. Cossack. I think this is a full big bang.
Yep. And there goes Fu.
Yeah, that's not good. I might reset out right now.
let's see the rotation. I'm curious to see. Obviously, a black hole's gonna fire. Or you could just trigger the refill completely, and that's unfortunately you cannot stop this. So we know what's coming.
Yeah, this is not a good spot right now because it does look like he tipped
Yep.
over. There's the
Yep.
Big Bang, and it's GG reset out of it. That does not feel good. That was narrowing in on the first sub hour, but it does look like Cossack needs to do a little bit more grinding, so he's off to the races. Eykir, meanwhile, diving in.
Not so much grind. He might be going after what I mentioned earlier. Might be going to kill a boss or two to get Fu fully powered, or at least get Cure 4 on him.
So how tilted do you feel if you're Dr. Cossack right now? Because first of all, we see he landed at the wrong entrance to the Miss Cave.
You know, I don't know. I mean, that it's bad luck. It really is. You know, triggering the refill literally right after the Big Bang fires and stopping the black hole from basically unlocking Yang to the point you could actually do something with him. I mean, it's kind of hard to call that one with the amount of damage output that you have unless you're like specifically counting or watching for when that happens. Fu would have survived barely that for that full powered Big Bang. It would have been close. I feel like it's one of those that once you get Cure 4, I feel like you just go back in the fight and you just do it again.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. So I think he'll have one more fight after this. Was Cure 4? I saw Life 2.
I saw Cure 4 as part of that, so it's there. So the only thing that scares me about this is, and I don't know if Doc paid attention to this, was that unnerfed Big Bang did like 1970. And I'm looking at Fu right now at 1883 like, maybe I want to go kill maybe go snipe the waterfall boss and get that other 100 HP. So I don't know. You are seeing some inventory manip there, a little more magic defense on Fu, so that will definitely help the cause. Because I mean, Tella's Tella. You don't really need it. So
yeah, Tella's best strength is lying on the floor and just supporting. You know what? This floor needs as much support as anything, because without the floor, we have nothing to stand on.
Yeah.
All right, so Dr. Cossack's going back in for round 2. He's feeling the pressure right now. He knows it. Eykir also feeling the pressure. You got to know he's looking at that, going at the room, going, "Why isn't there a dot done yet?" Again, maybe feeling a little bit more hopeful. Setting up and doing his grind right now, setting up fairly well.
Well, I mean, you know, like we said before, you have to assume, you know, because there's no Cecil and, you know, obviously because Tella was locked behind the hook, you didn't have a reason to go to ordeals. So you're hoping that your opponent kind of was in the same mindset and you both kind of hit the same things at the same time. So at that point, if that's in your mind, this is going to come down to, okay, where am I comfortable beating the game? Where do I stop leveling and then just go straight into Z? So maybe you see Eykir short the leveling a bit here, just because that's running through his mind right now. I don't know.
Interesting that Eykir is actually keeping Fu down as his anchor at this point in time, which, you know, he has his Rosa. Rosa was available very early on Mount Hobbs, but was behind that kind of really rude alt gauntlet. So 5 random bosses encounter. Dr. Cossack reset out of that immediately, didn't want to waste the time. Eykir has, and in doing so has, frankly speaking, a superior white mage going into all of this, if he can get the levels in time.
Yeah, no, it's not only superior white mage, but also superior HP. Rosa's HP curve is much better. So you'll see Rosa. I don't know where Eykir will stop. I would guess somewhere maybe 2,000, 2,200 range, somewhere in there, and probably put the brakes on and then go straight to Z. But looking at that party, I mean, you have 2 Cure forecasters. Kane and Yang and Spoonward will be putting out the damage. And you might supplement it a little bit with, Anchor Fu and Nuke possibly, but I have a feeling they're going to be on Cure 4 duty for a lot of the fights. So it's a very safe strategy for Z.
Cure 4 or possibly even Zerk duty. It's been a while since we've even seen Bacchus lines. Perfect. Honestly, I don't know where exactly they were.
As I see 8 in inventory, I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be on Berserk duty. I mean, as any well-respected individual can tell you, finishing the game with items in your inventory, you're obviously not doing it correctly. So no, you use your elixir, you drink all the wine. That's how it goes.
All right, so Eykir is continuing his grind. Dr. Cossack continues to set everything up. He's got his Zerks rolling. Does not care about Tella. The problem with Tella still being up, though, is that he splits that Cure 4 5 ways instead of 4, so that does kind of nerf things a little bit on that side.
It looked like, fortunately, though, Fu had enough stat boosting gear to make sure that, yes, everybody got fully refilled on that, though.
So far, the Zerkers are doing their job, not trying to nerf anything. I think he's just waiting for the shakes at this point. Doing about, about 7,500 damage per round.
Okay, that's not terrible. You're getting close to that threshold where some scary things can happen. We talk about it a lot for people that don't know. It's kind of based on the damage per round, where you get into some very scary things occurring. Usually it's right in that 8,000-9,000 HP threshold is where you run the risk of going straight from the second Big Bang right into falling rocks. And if you're not careful, that will wipe your party and you will not be able to stop it. So I would rather be on the low side of that one than right in that threshold of, great, I get to watch my party just die. So. But yeah, it looks like Eykir's going into the fight. So we are lined up here for a finish. I am looking forward to this.
Yeah, Dr. Cossack still isn't completely stabilized in his round 2 fight of Zero Mess, while Eykir is going in for his first one. This is going to be a photo finish. If Dr. Cossack stumbles again, this is Eykir's for the win, for the taking. Very close race, exactly what you want to see from a 2-2 elimination race.
Absolutely. And we see the low roll on Fu this time on a Big Bang. That was beautiful. That was 1,100. That's a big difference from the first time around. So, and also hiding Ed was a great thing. Unfortunately, Fu, as wonderful as Fu is, we all wish Fu had a bigger MP pool. We really do. 190 just doesn't cut it.
And we have no MP restorative items whatsoever. So this is not a fantastic spot. You're just hoping to get Tella up, maybe get another Cure 4 off on Tella, trying to keep these Zerkers going. That is Nuke, so we know we're in the last phase, but that is the worst target for that Nuke.
Yeah, without having a source of Cure 4, fortunately, Tella's got one shot at it, but I don't think there's been enough damage done to where we can say, hey, we're just going to get into rocks and be able to finish the game. I have a very sick feeling that this is going to go sideways.
Oh, there's a Big Bang. So, yeah, the rest of his party is going to be taking a nap. Whew. Except Eddie, who's just now coming out.
Unfortunately, that next vibrate came out really fast, and oh boy.
Oh, no. All right,
Oh,
so Cossack resets out of the second one. Eykir, meanwhile, seems to be set up reasonably well.
and it looks like Doc is going to the moon, possibly a few more levels. Maybe HP threshold. Maybe get Eddie above 1200 HP so Ed keeps swinging. That could be a thing. Maybe we're shopping for some of those MP restoratives that you were mentioning.
Got to be doing something at this point in time. We know where the life potions are that are right there in my city if we want to. But yeah, gotta be checking something else out. And
buying Bacchus wines. Okay. I mean, anything that can save MP on Fu, I'm all for it. If you're not casting Berserk, that saves you a little bit. So, all right. But it looks like Eykir has this pretty well handled so far, I'd say, in the fight. It's going extremely well here.
Yeah, a few more levels went ahead, getting through. Just swag bonk with Rosa with her life staff, because why not?
I would say why not? I tell you what though, I do love seeing Ed and Ed's damage output in this fight. I know people treat Ed like a sponge, and usually for very good reason, but boy can he hit when he wants to. It's fun to see.
Perfect counter nuke right into the guy already set up with Reflect, so that was fantastic to see. It does look like Eykir's also got the rhythm going to nerf the second Big Bang as well. So Eykir is in control of this fight from start to finish, which you never really got the feeling from Dr. Cossack, who, while in zero... By the way, I think we've all been in this spot before where we're the first one to zero miss, but because we're not completely under control through the whole fight, it's coming in a little bit behind up to this point in time, because Eykir looks solid right now.
Yeah, and obviously we saw what we call the fake shake in there. That's where you see the second shake that triggered the refill, so it was just kind of like, fooled you. And then it goes back into the script of waiting for a minute, and then you see the actual real shake. So this is well on Eykir's way to finishing this fight. So
all right, so Big Bang, and I do think this is going to be nerfed on Eykir's side. Dr. Cossack, round 3 comes at it. Oh no, that's a completely unnerfed Big Bang.
Yep, that was full power, but Rosa's still alive, and I'm guessing. And there's the Wombo. Uh-oh.
This is dangerous.
The good part, she had the Cure 4 queued, so okay. So, well, welcome to the Power Almost But Not Quite Couple show, starring Yang.
I'll take a punch mage every day of the week,
Absolutely.
All right?
And we laugh at your second rock for good measure. We don't need that.
It missed everyone. It didn't even see the animation.
And Rosa with the finish. I love it.
GG's to Eykir with the come from behind. Official time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, 15 seconds. Wow, what a final race. Big shout out to both these runners, Eykir and Dr. Cossack. Cossack will be finishing things up here directly. I get the feeling. Big shout out to Eykir, moving on at 3-2, just taking his time with it. We'll try to get Eykir in here for an interview here directly, but my goodness.
Wow. What a fight.
Very clean fight. Eykir was in control from start to finish. Sounds like we're now joining by Eykir. GG's.
Oh, thank you. GG's.
So I understand we're, obviously on the 15-minute delay. How are you feeling, by the way?
I saw Dr. Cossack type in chat as I was heading back to the Earth. I'm like, oh crap, I'm way behind. I'm not going to win this one. I probably shouldn't have won this one, but Whew.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's,
finding it.
let's start with that Mount Ordeals because that hold the key for several objectives at that point in time, and you had faded it early. What prompted you to check that before you checked the Darkness Crystal? Because that was the big difference there.
The plan was I looked at Fu and he was missing spells. He had Nuke, but I really wanted to get Quake because I think I've seen a bunch of us that wanted Quake, and I actually wanted to go back down to Feymarsh first and not go to the moon. And I didn't have Quake for that Baigen that was there or the CPU, so I wanted to like kill some bosses quickly to get Quake. So I'm like, okay, 3 sets there. Let's just go to Ordeals, kill the 3 there. Maybe there's something here, and there was something there, all right.
Yeah, it was, watching obviously both of you go and, seeing Doc do that early and spiking both the hook and the wall there. When you went there and you saw that, your mind had to be going a direction that you just didn't want it to go. So at that point, what was from that point where you're like, this was go mode? Where's your mind at that point? Where are you?
I got those, and I got the hook from there. So I'm like, okay, cool. I just need evil wall for go mode. Oh, there's evil wall. I'm in go mode. I hate jet seeds. I have 3 streams. Like, jet seeds are my nightmare because I never know how to finish them off. And I had to go mode at 50 minutes, I think it was. So I'm not sure when Dr. Cossack got it, but I had to go somewhere to like fight things. So I think I had the Dragoon Spear. So immediately I thought was I find try to see if I can find Sirens, and then go to do the dealers, or not dealers, the Dragons on the Moon.
Yeah, it worked out really well for it. Did you think about shorting that grind a little bit? Obviously, you mentioned that you'd saw Doc typing in there. Did you think about, okay, how much can I short this and still beat Z? Did you have a level you were comfortable at and then try to cut it a little? Where was that gonna stop?
I got the Cure 4 on Rosa. The last run I had really bad experiences with high roll big bangs, and so I think she was at 1700, like 1750. And even though I had a lot of protection on her, I just wanted to be able to get one more so I could make sure she hit 1900, so hopefully be safer. And I did the one more. I think it was while I was doing that one more that I saw the start typing, and I'm like, oh, is this a mistake? Did I do one too many? And I'm still comfortable with that decision. I don't think she was in danger of getting killed by the Big Bang. But it worked out.
I'm still trying to figure out how you got a 1 hour, 10-minute seed and still managed to open 100 treasure chests.
All that early looting, and the route I took took me down to Feymarsh right away, so it's like grab everything here, and then I think I eventually stopped looting after Twin Heart. Or I looted some of the Earth Crystal just to see if I could get the trap chest. After that, it's like, I think I have what I need, and then I don't remember where I got the Dragoon Spear at, but that was like the last thing I wanted.
Well, Dr. Cossack does defeat Mikumas 1:14:33, and we are joined by Dr. Cossack as well. GG's you.
Thanks. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, I think we've all been there at some point in time. Dr.
Yep.
Cossack was in go mode at like 35 minutes, honestly. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I had already taken 2 wipes to 0 miss by the time that Eykir started his first.
Yeah, I found the Bacchus route before my last attempt. That would have helped a lot.
Yeah, I saw that. I figured when you reset out of that failed attempt that it's like, all right, well, Bacchus prevents my spellcasters from doing anything. More MP, more healing. Okay, you know what? That makes sense. So, and obviously it worked out better that time.
But it was an elimination match. I just wanted to get it over with. It just didn't work.
Yeah. It was still an amazing race.
Thank you.
Your thoughts on spiking ordeals early, especially with a party that, I mean, you didn't really have a reason to go to ordeals. I'm curious the reasoning behind it.
I was looking for the boss. It was still Evil Wall, so. And he turned out to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out amazingly. Yeah, it's just usually like, a Cecil or Tella kind of push people in that direction. And, here you are with an Ed just going up there and like, nothing's going to stand in my way. We're good. Old 2 character ordeals. It was beautiful to watch.
So at what point did you realize when you were in the Heroes fight that of all the spells that an almost fully powered Fusoya could have, he didn't have Cure for?
After the first wipe. Because I knew I had the 3 bosses in the water when we passed the Mist Cave, so I got Waterhead killed right away. And I unlocked it.
Yeah, that was, of all the odds, of all the spell lists that he had, it's just that one of all things. So what's both of you, the question here, is this the kind of seed that you enjoy or do you dread? Because I think it's kind of a split attitude. When we're running things casually, we like them, but in these competitive races where it's do or die, this is one of the most nerve-wracking kind of seeds you can get.
It was a little nerve-wracking. Yeah. Then after the first eve, it comes down a little bit.
I guess I'll pose the next question to both of you. Obviously, you had Sirens on the table. Did either of you ever consider low-level strats at that point? Was 1200 or Eddie even on the table for either of you?
The last time I tried doing low-level strats, I failed it like 3 times. So no, I wasn't going to try those. No.
You're just like, no, this ain't for me. Now I'll go get levels. I'm good with this.
But yeah, there's Sirens. They might take a
level. And I haven't learned them, so.
Eykir, welcome to the 3 and 2 Buzzsaw that's getting ready to go down next week.
Good luck.
Any thoughts as you look at all the runners who are sitting there at the 3 and 2?
I've watched some of the elimination matches this week, and yeah, the runners who are in there, they're going to be tough. And if you're running this one and you're 3 and 2, you definitely won some good matches. So, I just hope I can pull it out next week. We'll see. I take it as it comes.
And then Caustic, this does, statistically eliminate you from the tournament. But what are kind of your overall thoughts about this tournament this time of year and this flag set and moving forward?
A little bit of a variance in the times, but that happens. It's a randomizer. Because I've had some that were over 2 hours, and I had some like this one where I could have sub-houred. Well, actually, this was the only one where I could have sub-houred.
We were rooting for it. We were rooting for the sub-hour seed, honestly.
Okay, let's be honest. I was rooting for. I was gonna say I was rooting for Eddie strats. Okay. I was cheerleading that one from about 15 minutes, and like when we saw you go up ordeals, it was all coming together so beautifully.
Yeah, and just knowing that all we had was Sid at that point in time, it was like, oh, this is what we have.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll learn Eddie strats for the next tournament.
I was going to ask, what are your thoughts? Are you ready? Both of you, matter of fact. So whatever the next tournament may be, are we going to be fortunate enough to see both of you in it?
Oh, I'll be there. I love competing.
Same here. I mean, yeah, Final Fantasy 4 for Enterprise is a great randomizer. I love it. So
yeah, it's been a lot of fun to run it. It's been a lot of fun commentating and seeing obviously people like both of you, both putting on a show like this is just, kudos to both of you on a very well done race. Vitasia, you have anything else?
No, just absolutely great race, both of you. This is going to be one to watch back for sure. Good luck to
both of you. I'll be watching it back after this.
Yeah, good luck to both of you.
Thanks.
And I don't want to see you next round because I'm also in that 3-2 buzzsaw. So.
Oh god. Oh god.
I feel like anybody that's in that 3-2 bracket is just like, yeah, stay away from me. Just
Like
go
all
that
of-
go
all
that
the-
away. Yeah, give me somebody else. Yeah,
Yeah, anxiety inducing up until the pairings are announced.
yeah, right.
All right. With that, just big shout out once again to Eykir and Dr. Cossack, our two runners here. Eykir with the win at 1:10:02. GG's to both of our runners here. Also, one last shout out to our behind the scenes crew, Cubs Rule 21 with the restream, and Klopfer with the tracking. Big shout outs to both of you. Cubs Rule, this was mwah, perfect seed. Great seed for anything.
I was promised a giant required seed. We didn't get it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful seed. Obviously, we
Yeah,
worked
that's probably where the
Klopfer.
Cecil was for a crystal sword for mine.
I was gonna say I faintly remember somebody mentioning that. Yeah, Crystal Sword Cecil not appearing in the seed. Yeah,
That's the second time this week I got one. Only last time I had a Cecil.
yeah, it does happen. But yeah, Klopfer, we're sorry to put you through all that effort of pushing buttons way too hard. Obviously, Cubs rolling that amazing seed, and you thought we were all done with you. Not only do we have a direction to point you, but there's more racing tonight on Randomania 2 at 7 o'clock on the correct coast. That's the west coast, by the way. Arya and Slippery are...
Sorry, that's the East Coast. Thank you very much.
I was waiting for someone to chime in. Arya and Slippery are both racing on Randomania 2. And then the late night after dark racing, we have 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern, will be Frankie Bones and everyone's favorite pancake in X Pancras. And that will be on the Free Enterprise channel. We're not done. It's Friday.
no.
There's a lot more racing, and we aren't even counting what I'm seeing on the schedule tomorrow. So
I was going to say, just as a heads up, there is a race just to kick your weekend off the right way. There's an 8 a.m. race tomorrow morning between Infinius and Night Dew. So if let's get some. I'll be calling that race with the wonderful Smape D. So let's all have a brunch date tomorrow morning. Let's all just.
Who's up at 8 in the morning? Really?
Hey, you know what? Mimosas are good at that time of day. I'm be right there with everyone.
It's gonna take a lot of mimosas, let me tell you.
Other than that, it sounds like that we will not. There's still a little bit of time before the 10 p.m. race, 10 p.m. Eastern time goes. So we're actually going to send everyone over to Rowdy Roddy Sniper, who's doing an Wacky Flags async race. So we're heading over that direction to support other members in our community. Just do remember to turn in Randomania 2 at 10 o'clock for that next race this evening. Have a great night, everyone. One last shout out, by the way, to Martin Broadcloak, my wonderful co-commentator. I always have a blast commenting with you, man.
Hey, thank you. I had a great time too. And as always, folks, no spoilers. We know where you live. Don't make the newspaper come after you. I hear it's terrifying. So till next time, everyone,